Welcome back to God Bless Golf, episode 14. I'm Chip Brook to my left, Richie Spice and Timmy Tuck. How we doing, boys?
Good, brother. How are you?
I'm good.
Doing pretty good there. Doing pretty good. Sorry, there a little
Yeah.
malfunction there. Doing all right.
All good.
Not bad for
All good. What would be this show without a little hiccup with the IT? But yeah, lots to cover this week. Richie, I'm gonna send it your way and have you get this show running.
Yeah, man, got a lot going on. Lot to recap last week, obviously, with our second major of the year in golf, the PGA Championship. We had a nice little horse race that some of us may have lost a little money on that we'll go over. Got a couple of good things on rapid fire, and obviously our favorite thing is the toddler zone / don't be that guy coming right at you. Real quick to get us started, though, we did have one of our own participating again in a major golf event this week. The United States Golf Association had its 4-ball out at Desert Mountain, and our boy Panda, Chip Brook, and Mark Dole, good friend of the show here, we're once again exempt. Excuse me. Yeah, they were exempt into the field, correct, after finishing 16th last year. First of all, congrats, buddy. Always hard to get to a USGA event. How was the weekend? Obviously you're back home, so not the outcome you wanted, but tell us how it was and about the event itself.
Yeah, it was great. This was US 4-ball number 8 for me and Mark, and Desert Mountain didn't disappoint. It was hot, and it was fast, and it was firm. The courses were in great shape.
Was it hot? Was it real sticky, or what was it?
Well, what's funny is 98 degrees, and it feels better than it does right now on my back porch in Florida. 98 in the desert isn't that bad. It kind of hits you more at night when your body's trying to cool down. But what's crazy is because they don't do the daylight savings time. The sun is up and it is bright at 5 a.m. I mean, bright. Like, and the first day I was there, I'm waking up at 4:45 in the morning because I'm still on Eastern time. I'm like, how's the sun out? It's like 5 a.m. and I walk out. I mean, it is bright as can be. It feels amazing. There's no humidity. It kind of makes you, not that I'm like the ultimate expert in wellness, but it makes sense why people that live out there, how easy it is to wake up early in the morning, get outside, go get some work in, ride a bike, hike, mountain, whatever that stuff is. Because when you're in a climate like that with no humidity like we're used to, you can see why that is really, really promoted out there. And it's like, man, if you're old and you got some busted up muscles and bones, like the desert is the spot.
You don't have to drink the air.
Yeah, oh my God. Yeah, I drank. Mark and I set a record for bottles of water in this format ever drank by the both of us combined. It was nuts. And, the two courses that we played, Desert Mountain has 6 or 7. The Outlaw course, the first day we played it, I thought it was really difficult. The wind was howling, and, Mark and I didn't have our best, but I think we proved that first round. That round kind of showed why we've had so much success together as a team, because we were both naked out there a lot. I felt naked a lot on the back nine. Mark got a cactus in his arm trying to find one of his balls. So it was a wild day. And yeah, our run of 7 straight trips to match play did end. We finally did miss a cut, which I guess was bound to happen. Certainly does sting, but I think as each hour got removed after the drive home, it's you reflect back on all the stuff we did. The USGA pulled us aside and did a little interview and was talking about last year's 4-ball. Which, for those that don't know, I would assume anybody that knows us is listening to the show. Last year, after Mark and I made match play, we won our first round match. I flew home that following morning because my daughter was graduating high school, and Mark did something that had never been done before, and he won a match by himself. In the second match of the day, he took the 2 guys he was playing to the 18th hole. He was literally 1 hole away from me flying back from Florida to New Jersey to join him for the semifinals. But that win is what got us an exemption into this year. and the USGA, shout out to them. Did a little clip on us, and really, the story is Mark. Obviously, Mark's beating two guys. I mean, that's an amazing story, and I mean that is the story. And what we had to do to get there, I did have a part in. But then I think the other part of the story, the human element, is like, as much as we all love golf, all of us have, or at least, yeah, all of us on this panel have kids, but most people listening do have kids. And there's just certain times of moments in life that, are more important than just about anything. And
Absolutely.
one of the questions they asked, was it hard to leave, and did I feel guilty? And I said, yeah, it was really hard to leave, but no, there was no guilt at all. We knew what was going into that week, and a lot had to happen for us to get there. So it was cool for a lot of people came up to Mark and just wanted to say, hey man, I just thought what last year was awesome. And, to see Mark in that moment, getting the flowers he deserved, and, just being, he was really present this weekend, or this week, I should say. So I hope, I certainly enjoyed it, and I hope he did, although the golf and the finish wasn't what we wanted. But, there's 200 other teams that are saying the same thing, a really good player. So it's hard to make match play. I guess this is really what's proved it. But as this tournament has ended, Mark and I were going, we've played in 8 US4 balls. We've made 7 cuts. We've played 18 matches. And we are 11-7. And I know
Quite the record.
The record's awesome, yes. I'm sure I don't know if any team yet has played that many matches, because even though Todd White and Nathan Smith
has anybody played as
won.
many 4 balls of you? Well, I guess Todd
Well,
and Nathan
Nathan
probably
and
played
Todd,
every year.
this was their
Yeah.
11th. This was
Okay.
our 8th, and I think somebody else that was their 8th. But I know for a fact that Todd and Nathan hadn't made the cut every year, and we beat them in a match last year. So
Correct, right. First
so
round.
from a winning percentage, I don't know, but and when I look back on it, Mark is the age now that I was when this started. So our very first 4 ball, Tim Tucker, the legend, was carrying our bag in Pinehurst, him and Matt Torrey, on our very first run, where we didn't even we were just
What
kind
year?
of, that was 19. That was 2017 or 16.
17, right.
What year Joe win the John Deere? Because it was 2 months before that.
Yeah, I guess that was 17.
Okay, so yeah,
it had to be 17.
So it was May.
17.
Tim was on a little him and Bryson were on a little break. He had the time. Him and Matt Torrey caddied for me and Mark. We show up to Pinehurst. Their very first one. This is the 3rd one ever. Akshay Bhatia was there. He was 15. And we didn't really,
we're getting old.
Yeah, I know, right? We didn't even really know what to expect, and we played the practice round. We're having a great time. Hopefully, we had this little condo with all these old clubs, and nobody else was there, and we were playing all over the place. Timmy probably has the burnt $20 bill that I gave him, still to this day. And then we go out, and we birdie the first 5 holes of stroke play, and end up making it to the semifinals and losing to Ben Wong and Frankie Cappan, and that just has catapulted. So when you look back, and you think, man, that was a lot has happened since then. So I don't know.
Certainly a lot to be grateful for.
Yeah, and I don't know if this is going to be our last one. I mean, obviously, this late in the game, it's kind of, I know a couple years ago I gave Mark an opportunity to say, hey, man, I love playing with you, but I'm getting older. You're in a really good spot. If there's a young buck out there that you want to try to make a similar run with, and he flat out said, no, I want to play with you. So that obviously made me feel great. And we'll figure that out, whether we try to make another run at it again. If we don't, I think we've proven anything we've needed to prove other than winning it. So yeah, it's a special tournament. All 3 of us have been a part of it. I know Timmy played, I believe, in the first one. Richie, you've caddied for me in 5 of the 7. Just some epic moments, and we could do a whole show. I know I'm kind of rambling on about this tournament, but shout out to the U.S.
It's every Saturday. It's every. Let me say this. Sorry, I'm gonna fumble here, but you should rant about it, because it's every country club duo's dream to play in. If you're any good and you want to know what the ultimate 4 ball is, this is it. I mean,
That's
this
a
is the
great
best
event
of the
for sure.
best. So
They had they had this poster up by the putting green, and the average score to qualify for this tournament was 63.4.
yeah, play
And
some golf.
that's the average score to qualify for the US 4 ball. So
Yeah.
it's insane. We played an 8, we've qualified twice. So the exemption life. But yeah, great time, great week. Unfortunately, I'm back home, but at the same time I am home with the kiddos and got to take Ace to school this morning. So good stuff. But yeah, great week and it's still going on. So shout out to all those guys out there. I have some friends out there and hope they're doing well. And if you're looking for something to follow in golf this week, go on to USGA and see what's going on out there in the desert.
Yeah, certainly be always fun to see who ends up winning that and see if we have any connection with them. But yeah, man, great work. Hopefully we'll see you guys out there again. But obviously had another big tournament that wrapped up this week that we're kind of recapping and looking at and from a lot of different angles. PGA Championship, Philadelphia, Aronimink, classic venue, a lot going on, a lot coming out. Obviously, Aaron Rye. I don't want to say came from out of nowhere. He was kind of there all weekend, around all week, but certainly not a name that many people are very familiar with. If you really know the tour, you know Aaron Ryan, how good he is, and some of his story. But want to get y'all's first thoughts. Timmy, we'll start with you. What you thought of the weekend and the results, and we'll get panned after you.
Yeah, the course kind of reminded me a lot of Bethpage Black, and in the fact that I've played Bethpage Black. We played in a major out there, and I still can't remember the layout of every hole. And we played in the FedEx Cup playoffs at Aronimink, so it was tough to see the difference in all the holes. It's not like Augusta that really well, or Pebble, but I thought so. I struggled watching it. I watched the entire weekend until the end when Aaron Ride just broke out of the pack and dominated the last 11 holes on the golf course and really made the championship amazing. And he stood out I think it was the greatest thing. It was a great tournament for the last, 10 holes. And it made it, man. That was an amazing event. I was glad that Aaron won. I know him. He's an awesome dude. And he put on a clinic, and it was impressive to watch.
Is he as good a ball striker as far as controlling the golf ball as I think he is? It looked like he's got
To be
pinpoint
honest,
accuracy with that ball.
never played in the same group with him. I just spent a couple hours with him on the putting green one day, just chatting, and we were doing some green reading stuff together. But I've just said hi to him and know him that way, and his caddy. But yeah, I've really never played with him. But obviously, his iron play was elite coming in. He didn't miss a shot.
Well, yeah, Chipper, did you catch some of that?
Yeah, so Saturday, no, we watched the replay, but being out in the desert, I was fine because I really didn't know what was going on. I'm watching it, and yeah, to Tim's point, it is kind of sometimes those events are hard to watch because, and this is just coming because I just played an USGA event. I mean, when you play in USGA events, whether it's no matter what it is, if their name's on it, they're setting the course up hard. The PGA had a USGA type course to set up. And those are courses where you hit great iron shots and you're 25 feet away. Like you're not just sending missiles in there and stopping and popping right next to the hole and just have 5-8 footers all day. And the patience that's required, I mean, Timmy, you know this, on difficult golf courses, the guys that are the most patient and, can stay in that moment are the ones that play the best. I think what Aaron proved was whatever his process was, he was sticking to it. And when he had an opportunity for his 10-hole hottest stretch of the week, it just happened to be his 10 last holes of the tournament. And that, to me, is amazing because that's happened. You see it in every golf tournament, in every major. Somebody has that 10-hole run, it might be on the first day, and it might be from 4 through 14. And, maybe they make 3 or 4 or 5 birdies, and then that's it for the week. Obviously, Aaron was playing solid golf, but when you look what an eagle and 4 birdies in the last 10 holes of a major to win, and when you're making putts like he made on 17, obviously you want to talk about whatever zone he was in, wherever he was at, it was process, process, process. He probably didn't even think about how long that putt was, where most of us would be thinking, oh my God, I'm a 3-putt before we even stepped in there. And then he kind of boom, stamp it, game over. To me, Aaron Rai was always a guy that was known for double gloves and iron covers. And I think there's a lot of double glove and iron cover guys out there that now have a champion, now have somebody to say, hey, you can't give me shit about these iron covers because my guy Aaron Rai just won a major. Now, I'm probably still going to give you a hard time about the iron covers, but you are right. He did win, and it was awesome to see. I was really, really happy for him because it sounds
All
like
you
a
iron
great
cover
story.
guys, for all you iron cover guy out there who come from humble beginnings, we'll go with your story
Yeah,
now since that's the
yeah.
one you heard this
Do you
weekend.
guys
But
know his nickname, or do you know if he has one?
I thought it was the Rain Man or something. The Weatherman?
Weatherman.
yeah,
'Cause he's
right.
always
The
predicting the
weatherman.
weather.
Is that right? Well, he's British, so they got a lot coming
He's the
through there.
Oh,
weatherman, dude.
man.
We were playing. I take that back. We did play with him. We played with him at Waste Management, Kurt and I, and the fans out there, they're rowdy, so they were screaming, "Weatherman, come on! Always predicting the weather." And it started to sprinkle, which was funny, ironic in the desert, right?
No
And
way.
they just started screaming that he knew it was going to rain. I thought that was funny. That's a great nickname, by the way.
That is a great nickname, and that was it was fun to watch. What'd you guys think of the broadcast?
I tell you, I can't. I'll get in here real quick and get hot because I'm going to sit on a soapbox for 30 seconds because I'm so tired of hearing European voices on an American broadcast use words that I get because I've heard them for so long, but I don't need to hear English or South African words that are nuances the little community of 5,000 people that you grew up in. Just tell us how hard it was. Tell us how sloped it was. Be more descriptive. So I am such not a fan of golf broadcasting right now. Like I just assume get on the mic and go live ourselves and talk about it. So
Are
there's
you
my two
talking about
cents.
Trevor Immelman?
All of them. They're all not very good. Trevor, his brother, to me, they're like in their own little bubble, and it's them and only them. And
is it Nobilo? Is he on there? Dottie
yep,
Pepper. See,
Pepper.
they all have
Yep,
they all have their own little jokes. Like
that's what I mean.
that's what they call
Yes.
a cake shot, where you bite off more than
Right.
you can
Thank
chew.
you.
Yeah, we know what it means. Like you're right.
Yeah.
That is, they are. Well, they
So
are.
I'm sorry.
They're
I'm sorry, but
broadcasting
that
the
was-
lowest common denominator, I guess. But yeah, the golf coverage is it's hard to listen to.
It stinks because they do this probably more than any time, but they'll show the leader all 68 to however many shots, right? Whatever lower 65 to however many shots, right? In this case, but there's like 400 golf shots going on in the last 3 hours of play. Is that fair? I mean, let's say there's 30 guys out there.
I mean, I
Maybe
don't know
not
about 400, but
maybe
I
200. You know
I
what I
get
mean?
what you're saying. Whether we don't need to do the math, but
Yeah, and Alex Smalley made the most expensive birdie on tour this year. I mean, that should have been a laughing point to end the day. I mean, he birdies 18 to make an extra $1 million.
yeah,
Like,
I love seeing that.
Good
So
for him.
anyway, there you go. There's my comment on it. So no,
Okay,
I'm
so
not a fan.
Spice doesn't like non-Americans. Got it.
I did think
That's not what I said.
We were playing with Matt Kuchar, and we were talking about the PGA Championship, and they were talking about Plano having it come there, and Steve Stricker had won the senior PGA at the golf course, and he said, when you win at a major, at a tournament, at a site, you praise that site, and he said it was kind of mediocre. And Kuchar said that's the problem with the PGA is that they're always hosting it at a good country club, not a great one. But I do think that this week was, and I've only been there once, but it played like a real major finally. The 20 under they said they were going to shoot, they didn't. It was a fucking grind fest. These guys were battling every hole just to make par. And I thought it was great. It was nice to see. And if the PGA would keep doing that, I think it would move up and well, it won't move up. It never will. It'll probably always be the fourth major, but it's a major. So I thought it played like a major, and I liked that aspect of it.
Yeah, I agree. I agree totally with that.
You know, it's hard not to like a leaderboard that includes as many names as I look at, who had a chance coming down the stretch too.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that back 932 took it away, but when Aaron Rai was standing on the 8th tee box, this golf tournament was wide open, and a lot of people were sitting there staring at that Sunday 65 Justin Thomas just posted. So I'm like you, Timmy. I think if it wants to gain some more stature, a little more, let's say, gusto as a major that guys want to have, then this is how you do it. No,
Yeah, I mean, I see what you're saying, but it's also the PGA. I mean, like like the USGA isn't tied into any golf course. They show up and they say get out of our way. But like
what's the PGA claim? What do they claim? Biggest field or
no.
largest?
Well, they say it used to be the strongest field, but I don't know if that's
Okay.
true. But
Okay.
think about every golf course has a PGA Pro. So like literally the PGA is connected to all these places, and the board that sits on the PGA, it's not like the USGA board, which is USGA is a bunch of guys from Shinnecock, Marion, Pine Valley. All the top 10 clubs in the world or in America are represented at a USGA. You know what I'm saying? As a
Right.
meeting
Sure.
when they're meeting, like those guys, I've met a lot of those guys that are high up in the USGA, and they're all members at like the sickest golf courses. Whereas you could have, you know, uh, remember little Matt Jordan from Stream Song? He's a director of golf at Olympic Club right now in San Francisco. So maybe somehow he gets on some board to the PGA. And then they're saying, hey, we got this great, and not the Olympic, because obviously that's a classic spot, but like Belle Reve and or Valhalla, all these places, like Tim said, great clubs, not because to me, it seems like the guys that are, I know for a fact that once Baltusrol decided to have the PGA, the USGA basically said, we're never coming back. So it's not like the PGA guys and the USGA guys are hanging out at, Applebee's and having bullshit and talking about what they're going to
Deciding
be
the
doing.
next venues.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I mean I remember our boy Dougie B from New Jersey. I mean, he told us, I remember he told me, he said once I think the PGA, because Jason Day won the PGA there, right, at Baltusrol. But once that happened,
No, he won it at Whistling Straits.
He
I
won at
thought.
Jason Day
Whistling.
did.
Yeah.
I think Jimmy Walker won at
Oh,
Baltusrol.
Jimmy Walker, my
won
bad.
at Boswell. Yep.
But once that happened, the USGA was kind of like, all right, you're on. Okay, Balti, you want to be PGA? Go ahead. There's definitely, I don't want to say it's a rivalry. It's not a rivalry. But they're not all working
what you're
together.
saying.
They're not all working
Yeah.
together. So there might be some courses where they're like, yeah, we'd love to have the PGA, but we might have the U.S. Amateur in 2050. So we kind of got to.
Well,
hang on.
that brings us kind of into our kind of my next real topic of conversation, because as we discussed about, I don't know, month and a half, 2 months ago, talking about a great 45 days in sports, this little bubble of golf that we're about to have between, and help me out here, guys, I'm going to miss something, U.S. Amateur qualifying, college, NCAAs, PGA, U.S. Open coming up. We got a bunch of great golf courses, right?
Yep.
Going on, and
Golf's
so how do we
longest
choose?
day.
Yeah, that's right. 36 for sectionals. So how do we keep that fresh? How do we keep not overusing the same venues, right?
Yeah, well, so for one, you got the US 4 ball, which is going on right now in Wednesday at Desert Mountain. You have the Texas event, is it the Byron Nelson coming up this week?
CJ Cup. Yep.
CJ Cup, so we can talk about that a little bit. So you have that. You have NCAAs. I don't know the exact schedule, regionals, sectionals, all that, but we are in that process.
Yeah,
The
regionals
NCAAs
right
are
So
going
Wednesday
on.
this week, regionals are going on right now.
Okay, so there you go. So
Yep.
you got so you got that going on. That's going to lead. We get through Memorial Day, and then the first weekend or the first Monday of June is golf's longest day. A couple weeks later, you got the U.S. Open, Father's Day.
NCAA finals are May 29th through June 3rd.
There you go. Yeah, so
Old
then,
La Costa.
yeah, SoCal. Yeah, a lot of golf. I mean, there's so many great venues. I mean, everywhere you go, and who determines? I think golf courses to me, as far as ratings, kind of like wine. Like if you have 5 bottles of wine and they're all $500 each, whichever one you like the best will be your favorite one, right? I mean, you go play the top 10 golf courses in the world or in America, you might not rank them I think a lot of people, kind of get lost in those rankings. They don't quite understand how it works. Um, and I think the most important thing when you're hosting these big tournaments is you want a venue that wants to accept you and say, hey, like when the PGA was at Belle Reve the year Brooks won, like those are communities and courses that have been historic that nobody really knows about. So I don't mind seeing some of those courses get showcased. But I think there's a select few courses that are just going to be, going to be in a certain pocket. The NCAAs at La Costa works well because it's a giant resort. All these schools have giant budgets, so they can fill up the hotel and do all that and have a great time. And it's a wonderful experience. So I think it's it's a fan experience, the player experience. You want a club that, can support what you're trying to do. I mean, Timmy, you know this better than anybody. You've been all these different PGA Tour events. I'm sure there's some. I know I felt it at just spending that week with you at Harbor Town. That's a vibe, right? Like obviously Bay Hill TPC, it's a Florida vibe, but not every week's going to be like that. Whereas I'm sure some places, especially maybe up in the Midwest, where you feel like a rock star and they try to do everything they can to accommodate you. Yeah, I'm sure you've noticed the differences. Are there any that stick out, Timmy, where you're like, man, this may not be the best course I've ever seen, but this is a great tournament?
I think
Yeah,
I know what
there's
you're
a
gonna
bunch
say.
of them, but what's that, Richie?
I think you're gonna say Memorial.
Well, Memorial's an amazing place. Fucking Jack's there.
No,
The son's
that's
a badass there. But, I'll tell you,
you don't
John
like the
did watch.
milkshakes, Timmy?
No,
They
the
don't trump
the
that.
city supports that tournament. It's badass. It's so fun to be there. People are so kind and nice. It's a small town. There's not many places on tour that are in small venues like that. I mean, and the course is okay. It's immaculate, but the fans come out. It's awesome. And like you said, Belle Reve for the PGA, St. Louis, those people love sports, man. And when we played there, the year Brooks won, it was insane. I'd never seen so many people. It was packed. And that's going to be an awesome PGA next year. But
Yeah.
yeah, Travelers, another one. Average golf course, but the people come out and support it. Awesome. So yeah, every place has its deal, right?
I'll throw one back too. I actually caught a guy who's a member up at TPC Sugarloaf here in Atlanta, and we were talking about great golf tournaments, and we were hanging out this weekend, and I was like, man, remember how fun the Bell South Classic used to be? Because it was 2 weeks before the Masters, 3 weeks before the Masters, so not everybody would go. So even though it was Atlanta, it still felt like people were out. A bunch of people would be out there, but it wasn't overcrowded like Eastlake. But man, the small town vibe for golf tournaments is legit because usually you get better food and better hospitality too if on your side of things.
Well, and I think you got a group of people that are genuinely happy that you're there. So that makes a big difference.
Yeah, for sure.
Question.
We
Yep.
did. Speaking of being there, happy to be attending somewhere. We did have a pretty cool. The second leg of the Triple Crown went off on Saturday. Should you have a problem, 1-800 gambling. But in lieu of that, I did have a great favorite. His name was Great White. He went down hard. I did hear a story of another person on the show that might have had another better too, Mr. Tucker.
Yeah, I lost some money, but I just bet on the jockeys. So I bet on the Ortiz brothers, to one of
There
them
you
to
go.
beat home. Unfortunately, they
Uh,
weren't. He finished third, but so I lost $600, but that's okay. It was a great 2 minutes.
Well, I'm gonna give. I've got something for you to recover on here today, and I think this is the absolute bet of the year. I'm gonna give it the Timmy Tucker stamp right now. You've got a couple hours. You'll probably have an hour by the time you hear this podcast. Atlanta Braves money line. I believe it's now -165. It'll be as good as a bet on cryptocurrency from now until the end of time.
Hey,
Price I
you
already
come
put
Lock
down.
it
that
in.
in, right?
I don't know if I love
Lock it
that.
in.
Do you know when they arrived in Miami? If they arrived today, I like your chances. If they arrived last night,
They arrived yesterday.
oh no, they were out. Big Sandy Alcantara's pitching for the Marlins. You can't mess with the Marlins at home with a big guy.
I'm telling you.
Okay, I'm gonna say Braves come down to Miami, get a little humidity, probably a couple clubs or two. Little sluggish, 4:30 afternoon game in that snooze ballpark. that'll be filled with mostly Braves fans and the few Marlins fans that exist.
I'm sure it'll be
But
hot.
the Braves are hot, so I'm not going to argue against it. But just remember who told you.
We're coming off a 12
Marlins are
to
tough.
nothing.
Marlins are a tough out. Marlins are a tough out.
You know, they're almost a 500 ball club.
I know, and I mean, the Braves are like 30-12. I mean, they're gonna lose. They're gonna lose 6 out of 9. It's baseball. We'll circle back to Richie's pick of the week with the Braves. As far as the horse race, I did not see any of it. After the horse I bet on in the Derby couldn't even make the gate, I've declined to bet on horse racing the rest of this.
Yeah, and that kind of took
Okay.
away. When there's no triple crown threat, it kind of kills the
Agreed.
event.
Yeah.
That was kind of a bummer.
Yeah, well, actually was actually hanging out with a horse person this weekend, and she was saying that they held that horse out because of stud fees. Purely, that thing wasn't supposed to win the Derby. She's the first female trainer. If he got hurt, takes a misstep, something like that, that stud fee goes way down. Yada yada yada. Obviously makes sense, but. And I asked her, so what do you think they're charging? And she said easily a couple of $1 million.
Couple
I'm
million
like, wow,
bucks. Yeah.
There you go. No need to take that risk and assess that.
So Timmy, if the horse that you own, the end of the tail of a horse, if they win and they go to stud, are you connected to that thing forever?
You are, yeah. I mean, like I own 5% of a horse, right? And yeah, if they were to do that, yeah, I'd get paid. So
nice. All right. What's your horse's name? Can you tell us?
Joke maker.
Joke maker. Oh, speaking of jokes.
Yes. Yes. Am I going to meet this horse when I come to Texas?
No, it's in Lexington.
Well, there you go. Ooh, yeah.
Bluegrass country.
Yeah, we're talking.
Yeah, it's a real horse. I mean,
this ain't some Texas horse.
No, I mean,
it's a real deal Holyfield.
No, it's a real horse. It's a bourbon drink horse, bro.
I love it. I love it. Yeah. So yeah, that kind of sucks. The whole Triple Crown thing. I mean, that's about as deep as in the horse racing I'm going to get. I doubt I'll have a Belmont party, but if it's around, we'll find a casino and place a bet on it. What do we got? What's up next, Tim? Richie's Pass?
Obviously, we got the Toddler Zone
real
Award
quick,
winner for
let
the
me
week.
throw this in before we get too far away from Aaron Rye. Sorry, Richie, to cut you off.
No, you're good. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
The one thing I can't wait to see the first guy run across at the golf course wearing 2 gloves. You know it's going to happen.
You beat me to it.
It's going to happen.
You beat me to it. So my award for Don't Be That Guy for this week goes to the first guy you see with 2 gloves on the golf course. Because you know this week rain glove sales are going way up.
Yeah.
And you know this weekend you're going to see old Tommy 2 gloves or old somebody 2 gloves out there. That is for sure. So please don't be that guy for me at least.
That's so funny. We'll have to take some photos of just double glove guys. It's crazy to me because I take my glove off after every shot, even if I'm playing by myself in a cart. I will hit a shot, I'll take the glove off, and I won't put it on until about a second before. It makes me sweat thinking about wearing just walking around with 2 gloves on. I don't know how he does it. Shoot, I mean, I remember when I lived in Oregon, I had those kangaroo leather grips. I didn't even wear a glove. Sticky leather grips in a cool climate is the best, but yeah, that'll be. The club covers, man. I don't know about that. If those start coming out, I'm just gonna say, don't be that guy. Like unless you got that story, you better have a story with you, like a script. If someone comes up, you just hand them, say, "Hey, I came from nothing." Okay, got it. But covering your clubs for the resale value as if they're that value. That don't be that guy, because that's just so you know that's bullshit. You go on PGAtrade.com. The minute those things the minute your irons are bought, they have a resale value whether they're dinged or not. So, I don't know. I think your irons should be dinged up a little bit. Jesus's tools weren't perfect and brand new, right? They were chiseled. So I think your irons need to have some scuff on it. They need to have some wear and tear. Not the driver, not the woods, but the irons.
Speaking of a little wear and tear, if you're out there listening right now, thank you very much. Do the things you're supposed to do. Like, subscribe, follow us along on all the social platforms. We thank you and cannot say thank you enough for listening along today
That's right.
and all the other times.
So Toddler Zone, I don't know if you have one.
I do, but go ahead.
You know, and it's hard to. I mean, JT's kind of there every week, right? Like that's just where he lives, and
He's the resident president.
Yeah, he's like a resident. He's like the RA of the Toddler Zone. Okay, like he's
Agreed.
he's the king. You're walking in. The guy played. God, I thought he was going to win another PGA. Which wouldn't that be weird? You only win 3 majors and it's all the same one. I want to say the Toddler Zone though kind of goes out to a lot of these golfers that, and I'm kind of piggybacking on what Paul McGinley kind of said. So I don't want this to come off as this is my original thought, but I was certainly thinking about it when he said it. Is these guys have balls. Titleist makes 11 different Pro Vs, right? These guys got golf balls to do whatever they want. They got the perfect clubs. They got the great, drivers that drive the ball forever. They got putting and grips and strokes and mirrors and chalk lines and everything they could possibly have to make this game, which is insanely hard, but golf's never been easier than it is right now. And then they get to a golf course where they hit a shot, it rolls off, and they just say, "Oh, I don't know. This is just I don't think this course will separate the greatest players because I'm having difficulties." And you're just going to go on there and complain about it, and it's just ridiculous. I don't care. I'll call you out, Rory. Like, you should just not say that. Oh, you didn't win the tournament by 12, so therefore you don't like the setup. I mean, to me, it's just asinine to hear these guys who literally have every single advantage you could possibly imagine. I mean, every advantage you could possibly have to be great at this sport. And then you and Shane Lowry decide, hey, let's just trash this since I'm not winning by 11. Because I'm pretty sure if Rory had a 7-shot lead after the second day, he wouldn't have been saying that. I know Rory's a great guy, and everybody loves Rory. I love Rory, but like, it just drives me crazy to hear players bitch. And then the media that whatever came up with this 20 under, it's you got a bunch of guys that suck at golf, and then they're feeding these players these questions about the fairness of the golf course and this and that, and they're making these guys answer these questions, and it's like,
what do you think about your round, Rory?
Go play the course. These riders go shoot 115, and then say, yeah, I could see 20 under winning this tournament. I mean, that to me, so it's kind of a long circle of Toddler Zone, but it starts with the players. If there's some pins that are unfair, you can say, hey, these are unfair pins, or I've never seen a pin this hard in my whole life. So you've been playing your whole life with great pins. You see one pin that's terrible, and next thing you know, that's what they're talking about. And to me, it just seems, and maybe that's just the times that we're in. These guys they're just spoon-fed everything. That if something doesn't go their way, they want to bitch about it. And I'm just
Chippy, you'll never hear anybody bitch about Augusta because they're afraid of Augusta, right?
Well, yeah.
Augusta's tricked
but they
up.
would.
Sorry. Augusta's tricked up. Imagine having 6-inch or 8-inch rough at Augusta and tell me no one would break par. Too tricked up. I mean, they have to have low rough, That's just it is tricked up. These players will tell you, if there weren't a major here, we'd never play this golf course.
But they would never say it on record. It's all off the record.
Never say it on record.
And so, yeah,
Timmy,
correct.
Go ahead.
Timmy, let me ask you this too. Is it not, and Chipper, provide your perspective too, but look, some weeks it's a hitting contest and a control your golf ball contest. In other weeks, it's who plays the golf course that's presented to them the best. And I think there's a difference in how you approach the week, right? Like, oh, hey, it's big and wide open. I need to hit it better this week. Or it's, okay, I may need to be in the right spot this week. And if you're going to tell me that because you needed to be in the right, you don't like being in the right spot, and that doesn't cater to a blowout win, that's not golf, I find that hard to believe. Golf is a different course every day almost, right? Different angle, different pins.
Well, my thought is,
but yeah, dude, about time they had a real test for the PGA.
Exactly. Well, and then it's like, what do you want? Because then it's, if someone shoots, and this is where the media just goes nuts too. If someone shoots 21 under, it's dome golf. If someone only shoots 7 under, it's tricked up. And it's like,
Right. Yeah.
the greatest thing about golf is that separates it from all these other sports is the conditions in the venue are different every single day. If you're a tennis player, no matter where you go in the world, tennis court you step on is going to look like the one in my backyard. Any basketball court you go in, any rim you see, pick the sport, the baseball. I mean, baseball, the fences are different, but as far as the dimensions, 90 feet, this, that, and the other. And it's like Richie when we were at that Senior Open qualifier, and we show up and the greens were trash and had been punched 3 weeks ago. And I just said, my note to myself was, I'm not going to even think about this, because what good is that if I'm already bitching about this or that?
Everybody's got to play it, right? Everybody's
got to play it. And in my opinion, if JT doesn't have that, isn't in its, I don't want to call it bitch mode, but if he wasn't in bitch mode on Thursday or Wednesday, maybe that 65 maybe that kind of vibe he was on starts on Friday and he does win. I just don't.
Well, mentally, that's a fact.
It just doesn't help you. It just doesn't help you. And I know it makes for good TV, and the media are asking these very leading questions and all that stuff. But, everybody's got to play the same course. And the conditions are different. This isn't live where it's a shotgun. Everybody's playing the same conditions, right? Some guys get good draws. Some guys get bad. Golf is really hard. It's just really hard. And I think the most people don't realize how hard it is because they don't play. And so they just watch it and they write and they ask questions and whatever, and they think they know golf. And, a lot of these players, they're only interviewing a few of them. I would love for them to interview every single player that played and have them be really honest and say, hey, this is your little truth box. Just tell us what you think.
Yeah. Polygraph yourself.
And kind of like to Timmy's point, I mean, there's just, there's certain places that nobody's going to say anything about because it's like this little, it's this club of you better not say
and
that.
Also, someone's always going to go low. Kurt shot a 63, right?
Yeah, right.
Tied the lowest round on a Sunday in a major ever. Okay.
Ever.
So Aaron Rice shot 65.
And we didn't see enough shots of that, by the way, on TV. That's what pissed me off about
his last putt. So, I mean, obviously these guys could handle it. Some of them couldn't handle it on Sunday. That's probably, you're right. It's more state of mind than anything.
I mean, like I said, I'm not comparing the two, but I mean, I just got home from playing a USGA event where I'm playing a hole that's 520 yards. It's par 4 end of the wind, and Grant's a little downhill. It's in the desert. I hit a good drive. Let's say I have 204 left, downhill into the wind. You're doing all the math. Let's say it comes out to a 187-yard shot. Okay. Now I got to decide. I got to land this at 180. So is it hard 7? Do I take off the 6? The wind's coming from the right. And if I don't hit it where it needs to be, I don't want to say I'm fucked, but it's going to be hard. It's going to be hard to make par. And that's literally, when you're watching the PGA, that's every single shot these guys are hitting. I mean, obviously the process is a lot longer than the little snippet I gave you. I'm sure, Tim, you could give us so many great examples, and you know this certainly better than I do. But just from an experience of you're playing a golf course that the margin for error is so tiny. The difference between 67 and 76 might be 4 total yards in an entire day. 6 inches here, a yard here, there, and that. Tim, speak on that a little bit as far as just the
the hard part for these guys is they're always going at pins, right? And then you get to a golf course like this where you can't, and they're fighting that urge to go at it. And the caddy's like, hey, we need to be in the middle of the green here. And the guy just last second, hits a big draw in there and tries to think he can do it. It bounces over the green, hits a perfect shot, but he's pissed at the result because he played the wrong shot, right? And that's Aaron Ryan. They said he stuck to his game plan the whole time. It's like Zach Johnson winning Augusta when he laid up on every par 5. And he stuck to his game plan, right? And maybe he's not as good of a golfer as Scotty Scheffler or Rory day in, day out statistically, but he outplayed them because he had a game plan and stuck to it and was disciplined. That's probably why he's has the trophy at his house right now.
Well, 100%, and it's kinda and it's such a great point about these guys going after the pins. I mean, there's just certain pins. I catch myself doing it because it's not like I'm playing in high competitive stuff that often. So here I come from playing my country club golf or with the friends. Then I'm out playing a tournament. I'm looking at this book and I'm sitting there looking at this pin that's sitting there. I shouldn't even be looking there. I should be looking at the middle of the green, right? Like, why am I looking at this pin? Because I'm not good enough to fly within that yard, and I could hit a great shot and it could bounce, and I'm screwed. I'm making bogey, and I'm saying, why
Does
didn't
it
I
make
just
sense to
why
land
did
it there or not?
right? Why didn't I just aim in the middle of the green? And that's a great point, Tim. Aaron Rye process trumps everything else. And I think that whatever mental state he was in, he played as if he was 6 over or nowhere in he played how he was going to play. And like I said, the best 10 holes of his week happened to be the last 10. Is it a coincidence? Sure. But that's just the way it is. And that's how it goes sometimes. We all know it. Anybody that's ever played golf, whatever your level of golf is out there, I try to tell everybody when you go out there, you're going to have 6 holes that are going to be your best holes. You're going to have 6 where it'll be mediocre, and you're going to have 6 where you're probably going to have to grind. And if you could take advantage of all 3 of those, whether it's, you get up and down half the bad ones, you par all those 6 and you birdie 3 or 4 of the ones that you're playing well, that's a good day. So these guys have that same thing, and it's the hardest part about this game is to get your brain to keep all the stuff that makes you great as a golfer can also be the worst thing in your head when you're trying to play and stick to the process. I'm sure, Timmy, I know that the great players that you've been around and seen, like you said, they want to be aggressive, but they have that mental, strength and will to just stick to what they're doing.
Right, we played a lot with Tiger, and he told Bryson, he said, "Look, my approach to majors is I know that I'm gonna get hot on at least 1 9, maybe 2. If I can just play the
Yeah.
rest of them even par, I'm gonna win because I'm gonna be patient and other players are gonna press." And that's the
Yeah.
truth.
It is. I'm sitting here looking all for his days right now. It's amazing. Like front sides, had 133, but 1 over even. Basically played the front side completely even par, right? And
Mhm.
he was again 9 under par on the back. But even on Sunday, if I break his scorecard down into 6-hole, increments, 2 of the 6 holes, 200 through one, 200 in one part and 300 in another. The first 6 holes, he was dead even, 2 birdies, 2 bogeys. So decompartmentalizing your success in this game is an absolute must. Like I used to tell that to my kids, and I obviously got that from you guys. But it is just a game of 6 holes
Are
or
you
3 holes.
if you have his stats, can you tell me
Yeah.
what he was on the par threes this week?
Let me
You able to
see.
pull
I have
that
his
up?
stats up. I'm sure. I'm just looking at his
So I
scorecards.
think we were having a conversation that a couple weeks ago where um when I was at Oak Hill last October, Claude Harmon was talking about how if a PGA Tour player can play the par threes at 1 over or better for the week, they're like the percentage there in the top 15 is like insane. Like the par threes are like and when you think about
I
it,
mean,
you never really think about it. And then it's like when you have really good rounds, there's a couple twos in there or 2, and there's never a 5, right? It should
Right.
be the easiest of all the holes. You get to
Yeah.
pick where you want to stand and try to hit the green. But I'm interested to see where he finished par threes this week. Obviously, he won, so I'm assuming he didn't make
I,
many bogeys.
I think it was dead even,
Okay, there you go.
and it was a lot of. It was. He's got 2, 3. He's just 3 birdies. No, sorry. So I think he might have been 2 over.
Okay,
I don't have it,
even that. I
but
mean,
it was either 1 or 2
yeah, I
over.
mean, which
So
is that's that gold number. I mean, you're playing 12 par threes at 2 over or better. That's pretty good. I would imagine you go up and down the list of guys. And for those that are watching, that's something to follow. If you're looking for guys to
yeah, sorry,
maybe
2 over.
maybe place future wagers on, check out their par three stats. The guys that dominate the par threes usually have good weeks.
That's
And
great. So
Because
who
they're
we
all
got?
going to dominate the par fives. They're all dominating
Rory
the par
was
fives.
the longest hit the longest drive for the week. Rory hit the longest drives of the week and played the 5 pars even par. Aaron played him 6 under, so there you go.
So there was some ridiculous golf shots hit this week, and it was cool to see him build, hit on golf holes that normally had pine trees on them or whatever they did years ago. Let's while we're talking about betting favorites, we've got a summer of sports coming up. We'll play little futures bets here for rapid fire this week. I'm gonna give you guys. We're gonna do a little word association. Take it back to elementary school for most of the kids in my area. It's last day of school tomorrow, so we'll have the last day of pool bash.
Elementary was the peak of my academic career, like third grade.
Well, this should be right up your alley. This is
good.
one word associated with one team. So I'm going to give you one word at a time. You give me one team that is currently associated with this word or will be associated with this word in the 2026 summer or fall sports season.
Okay.
First word we are going to start with is dynasty.
I mean, it's the Dodgers.
Patriots. God, I hate the Patriots, but the Patriots.
Wow.
Are you talking about like all time or like gonna be a dynasty?
Gonna be coming up.
Okay,
this could be future. Futures here.
Well, it's the Dodgers for sure because they've already won 3 World Series in the 20s. They'll probably. I mean, they're not going to win every year, but they might. Yeah, it's the Dodgers by far.
Timmy Tuck. You got the Patriots?
No, I'll go with Dodgers.
Bite you both. Okay, I don't like either one of you for that.
Truth hurts.
Okay. Right back to you on the opposite side. Who's going to be the fraud?
Who's the fraud?
Great answer.
It's gonna hurt some people, but the fraud. Like, I want to throw the Buffalo Bills in there, but I do like Josh Allen and. I would say the fraud is we'll stick with baseball. It's the Mets. The Mets are fraudulent.
Yes.
You got the richest owner in baseball, and the guy.
I will say this should count, but now that Live is over with and that these players are going to come back and be on TV, probably the fraud's going to be Bryson.
Ooh.
Are you real quick on that? Are you saying?
Let's tap on that real quick.
Are you saying that whatever happens with this comeback, he's just not going to handle it well, or he hasn't handled it well?
Well, I mean, people love a winner. So when he played great, he was all of a sudden a great guy, and now he's playing bad, and everybody's picking on him again. He's going to be in a New York crowd up at Shinnecock. Last time we were there, he called the fans clowns, and man, they were wearing red noses and screaming at him. It was insane. He had to apologize.
So I believe that
they wouldn't kill him.
That just leads me right into my next adjective.
Man.
Who is absolutely cooked this summer? I think you answered that one.
Probably.
Max Homa.
Oh, new.
Slow boat to tier 2.
Boat to tier 2. All right, who's gonna be clutch? Who's gonna be clutch this summer that we're not thinking about right now?
Well, Victor Wembanyama.
I like that play. That's a nice call.
Is an absolute alien. And what he did last night.
45 and 24.
Well, I don't know if you watched the game. I was in the airport watching it, or I probably wouldn't have watched it. It's not even fair. It looked like Mark Dole playing basketball against Ace and all of his friends. That's what it looks like. He's 7'3", and there are guys. He goes up for a two-handed dunk, and you could put everybody in the arena to try to stop him, and there's nothing you can do. And that was clutch. He made a three-pointer from outside of Steph Curry's range last night to tie the game.
From the logo.
I'm like, this guy's 7'4". Are you kidding me? This is how I feel like when I'm shooting hoops with Ace on a 6-foot hip. I mean, I'm like, oh my God, I would dominate. If I was 8 feet tall, I would dominate the NBA. So, that's my clutch guy. As far as golf goes, man, that's a tough one. I think this tournament. Anyway, I'm rambling on, but this tournament, there's a lot of guys like seeing Cam Smith play well is fun. Like anybody doesn't like Cam Smith, you don't like yourself. All right, what's the next one? Sorry.
Okay, I will. We'll come back to you on clutch.
See,
I mean, that means the Dodgers are going to win the World Series. That means that Indiana's going to win another national title. That means everything's going to stay the same.
yes.
And lastly, who is more overrated than you want to talk about right now?
Skepka.
Mm-hmm. That's a good one. Yeah,
Yeah.
Brooks. Like you're just.
We'll
I mean, we've been saying it for a while. Again, there's nothing against Brooks, but yeah,
What have you done for me lately?
the reason why he went to live was for the money because he was worried about how he's playing. I mean, the guy, he's just another guy.
I
The
will say,
Jag.
dude, the guy's won 5 majors. You can't take that away from him. Fucking unbelievable, right?
No, you can't take away from his
It's
past.
hard to win 5
I don't
majors
know.
in the mock.
Yeah, I just want
Yeah.
he's so rich.
Yeah.
And I
I'm
know
not
he loves
bagging
being
on
out here and playing.
him. Yeah.
Yeah, I just think he's kind of like Max Homa. I mean, it's just he's got the majors. He's super clutch. I love watching him play. I will say one prediction on Brooks Koepka, that whole mallet with the plumber's neck, I guarantee you by the Shinnecock, he is back with the button back. We've talked about putting a lot on this show. I consider Timmy an expert in putting, and, he's basically saying rolling a ball over and over with a piece of metal is all that's required to be a putter. So when I see guys that are traditional blade putters like a Newport 2 or an Answer 2, go to a mallet with a plumber's neck, oh man, to me it's just I don't know about that. I don't know about that combo.
Yeah, I'm trying to tell you, plumber's necks are only for certain people, and especially blades. Plumber's necks with blades.
Well, if
I mean, just the
I love
original
a
answer
yeah,
is
give
only
me
for
a
certain
pig answer with a plumber's neck. So I might be putting with that in Maryland, by the way.
Well, I mean,
anyway.
listen, can't wait to get up there and get us a little bit of crab cake.
All right, what's next? Sorry.
Got not a whole lot left here. Listen, we've got a whole lot of people, a whole lot of things coming up. A bunch of Eastern Conference, Western Conference finals coming up for NHL this week. We've got the CJ Cup, so a lot to look forward to this Memorial Day weekend. Guys, we'll wrap up here. One thing you guys are doing this weekend, Memorial Day weekend, to enjoy time with some family, or what? Go ahead.
I will start. We will be headed to Crescent Beach for the weekend. My father-in-law's birthday is the following week, but we'll spend some time with family. My dad's birthday's in a couple days. Pops turning 77.
Yo, hockey sticks. Shout out Kenny Brook
on Thursday. Kenny Brook's doing well. Full year removed from quadruple bypass. Yeah. All my kids are home for at least another week. Addie doesn't leave for about 10 days. So, yeah, just grilling, chilling, be on the beach, probably setting up a tent, digging some holes, drinking surf sides, shoes off. Probably be what I'm doing. How about you, Timmy?
The pool's open here. All the kids are graduating. So we're not going anywhere. We'll be here, but I'm sure I'll play some golf over the weekend and have a few Coors Lights and some vodka and some whiskey in that order.
Love it.
And then how about you, Spice?
What's your deal, Spice?
Yeah, we're gonna have some stitches removed from old Puppy Dog's foot Saturday before we get into anything too crazy. So we're gonna do that. But yeah, we're gonna throw some things on the grill. We've got a massive recital next Tuesday night. We've got to practice for us. Hip hop dance is coming in hot here this weekend.
Good times.
Our pool is open in Georgia this weekend, so there's no doubt going to be some grill and chill out by the pool. We're gonna throw back a little Tito's and lemonade and go from there.
Well, my pool.
A fumble.
Our pool's always open.
Pool life in Orlando.
Hey, real quick before we end the show, because I know we're coming up on it, I wanted to ask Timmy and wanted to get everybody's. Whoops, there we go. Wanted to get everybody's opinion on this Higo guy or Hugo.
He was my toddler zone nominee.
I wanted to throw him in the toddler zone, but Timmy, I wanted to ask you because you've been in this real time. I mean, the very first round, 7-18 or whatever his tee time is, and you're the caddy, obviously you're going to make sure you're there. Have you ever been to a spot where you're like looking for your player and you're like, bro, we got to go? And how common is that? And if you were his caddy, They said they split up. I guarantee the caddy said, dude, I ain't doing this anymore. Like, go F yourself. I'll find another guy. I don't know if that's true or not, but if I was a caddy, that's what I would say. Like, dude, I can't work with this guy. I don't care how good you might be.
Yeah, I got to tell you,
I mean,
man.
you
I
have
hate
any
to say
stories
this
about that? Or
yeah, I was at the PGA at was it PGA Championship at Kohala last year?
yes,
Yes.
So Kurt,
yes.
the way we leave the range. Kurt takes the putter, hit a couple balls, and he goes and hits putts by himself. I go to the tee because I want to be there. I like to just, double check the weather report. I like to put my air density on my pin sheet, all that stuff, right? And just relax and not have to rush to the tee. Well, at the PGA Championship last year, Friday, I went to the first tee, and I'm like, "Fuck, they're backed up, man." And I realized as the group was walking off the tee, we were on 10. I fucking hauled ass over there like you wouldn't believe, because I'm like, Kurt's probably standing there with a putter. Now, the rule is if you're on the box on time, it doesn't matter what club you have. So I was like, well, at least he could hit his putter off the tee if he had to. We're not going to get two, but I'm not there with the bag. So I was fucking terrified. I hauled ass over there, and thank God the 10th tee was a little delayed. And Kurt's like, where the fuck have you been?
Oh my God.
But, so yeah, that's my one time that I fucked up. Now, but with Bryson, he was always pushing it to the last second, man. He just wanted to hit balls.
That's
like,
not
dude,
surprised.
I'm giving him the countdown. We do. Hey, we're 30 minutes. We're 20 minutes. We're 15. We're 11. We're 10. We're 9. We're 8. It's like, fuck, bro. I'm giving you minutes because we got to go. But, yeah, I've never had a problem.
Because it takes 2 minutes to walk over there.
Yeah, they know, right? And we also know how far it can be sometimes. So, but we've never been late to the tee or close to it. The only person, I almost didn't have the clubs there at tee time. I got there with about 4 minutes to spare. So, all good.
What was your thought about that if you were that guy's caddy? Do you think that's a pretty good guess by me that it was much the caddy being like, I can't be with this guy?
No,
I mean,
I already talked
that guy
I have a
seems
friend that works close with me, and
okay.
they were just no. I think there was some stuff going on already, and I think the media put that out there. I don't think they did. So, but it wasn't because he was late. It wasn't the caddy's fault. The caddy was on the tee. A lot of times,
No,
like
the
I said,
caddy
I
was
leave
there.
Kurt. I go to the tee. He putts.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, caddy was there, so it's not on him.
90% of the
But I
time, that's
think
what
that was
happens
just-
anyway.
I'd heard the caddy was like screaming at him, like, dude, let's go. And he just,
Yeah, I'm sure it was.
Anyway.
Yeah, and this
I wanted to
caddy's a
throw
great
that in
guy.
there
Fucking
okay.
so.
Yeah. Cool. I'm sure he'll land on his feet again. I'd never seen that before, and that interview was baffling as well. I'm like, what's he talking about? Like, oh, it's like 2 + 2 is not really 4. If you had 1, it's 5. It's like, no, bro, you got to be there at 7:18, not 7:18
Right.
30 seconds.
Right. Not, yeah.
Yeah, it was like, I know he was saying some stuff like, it sounded like Yogi Berra. It's like no one ever goes there because it's just busy
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like, what are you talking about?
Technically, I
Man.
was late, but I was there.
I was there, but
I was
I'm
there,
like,
but
yeah.
but I wasn't
Crazy.
there. We were all there, but we weren't.
Well, hey, before we wrap this up, let's get a quick CJ Cup. That tournament is at, what's the name of that golf course they play?
TPC
Craig
Craig Ranch.
TPC Craig Ranch.
Craig Ranch. So this might be
Wide
a
open
20-something
golf
under.
course,
Yeah.
and there's going to shoot 30 under. There's I think maybe 15 guys from the PGA Championship are in it. Everybody's taking these weeks off. The Dallas guys like Siwoo, Jordan,
Scheffler,
Scotty are
Finau.
playing. So I think it's going to be like Siwoo, Jordan, Scotty. Someone else will do something, but like the power rankings weren't very high that week. Obviously, Scotty's 1, Siwoo's 2.
Yeah.
Right. Well, then they go to then it's Schwab, Memorial, Canadian, and then the Open.
Yep.
Yeah. I tell you what,
It's a
Colonial
quick run.
is an amazing tournament, right? The talk about Dallas isn't a small town. Fort Worth and Dallas are just really melded together, but that's a fun week. The fans support that. If you haven't been to Colonial or even that area, it's elite,
Good tournament.
badass
Elite.
place. Elite.
Nice.
Well, I hate to bring up the last topic of the day, but I mean, I think it all belongs to for a talk in the golf world, in the caddy world. Have you guys seen the news coming out of Pebble Beach?
I did.
Yeah. I think it's
What are
I
your
did.
thoughts on that?
Pebbles making enough money. I don't think they need to scrape the caddies' pockets, but I don't know, Chippy, you're a caddy master. You tell me.
Yeah, I mean, I learned from what I saw my dad do at Bandon, and in my opinion, the greatest caddy yard ever built, ever put together, probably still will be. As far as the sheer number, not only the sheer number of caddies, but the sheer number of scratch golfers and elite caddies, guys I've never even met, don't even know. I haven't been there in so long, and I'm sure that the standard is the standard. You're going to have plenty of guys out there that nobody will know the difference, but then you're going to have the elite horses. I know when I got to Stream Song, my best caddies worked every day. It was not a socialist thing where, hey, the guy that just comes in on the private jet, in my opinion, doesn't deserve my brokest caddy. He deserves my best. And that's how I ran my program. A lot of people didn't like it, but I didn't care. That's how I did it. And I felt that I ran next to Bandon the strongest caddy program in America. When you think about the guys that were there, both of you on this screen were there. Joe Cruz was there, Matt Torrey. We had guys from from Bandon, from Shinnecock, I wanted the guys from all over. I was a big proponent on cash, straight cash to these guys, straight cash. They're independent contractors. What happened with me at Stream Song, and one day we'll do a whole a show on that. But where my issue came with Stream Song of what I was trying to do for the embetterment of the entire resort, but mostly the caddies, is a lot of reasons why these companies are going to what they're doing now. And I think Pebble to me is such a corporate entity. Like,
Yeah.
it's not Bandon Dunes is its own thing. It's owned by one guy. He says, this is how it's going to be. I love the caddies. And there are places that love them. And if you're going to have a strong caddy program, you got to have a guy, either the caddy master or the guy ahead, that really believes in the caddy and the program. And look, we all know the other sides of caddies. And no matter what caddy yard you have, for every 10 great caddies, there's going to be some guys that are, questionable. But you need those guys. Let's be honest. You have to have that. You
That's
have
what
to
makes
have
the
guys.
stories.
You have to have the stories. But I could see at a private club having caddies that also do other things, because the one thing you don't want at a private club is you have caddies shaking down guests. My guess is, because I know how caddies are, there were some guys that were probably shaking down guests. And at a place like Pebble, that gets to a point where they say, okay, there's only one way we can do this, and we have to try to have this controlled thing. I don't agree with it. If I was a caddy there, I would be out of there. I know at the Grove 23 down at Jordan's place, the caddy, caddies 3 days a week, but then he works the cart barn or he drives the shuttle. And that kind of setting, I think that's great, because if I pick you up in the shuttle, hey, Mr. Tucker, Mr. Stapleton, welcome to Florida. This is the Grove. What time are you playing? Oh, you're 11:20. Great. I'm caddying for you. And we've already kind of developed a little rapport on the drive. I don't show up smelling like a bottle of Jack Daniels and chicken fingers, because I have to be dressed to drive the truck. I have to be dressed to work in the cart barn. And that side of it, I can see. The resort side, what it's gonna make is just the quality of caddies will drop, but Pebble doesn't care, because these guys are paying $1,000, $1,200 to play. And they're gonna probably give these caddies some stupid ass script. Oh, and this is the hole because that's what they do at TPC Sawgrass. I mean, and no knock on the caddies out there, but I mean, that's what they're telling me, to make sure you tell this story. Now, A lot of guys go out there, they're going to want to hear all that stuff. I'm out there, I don't want to hear that. Just
Right.
135. That's all I want to hear, and just get out of my way.
Yeah.
So
Exit stage right.
go ahead, Timmy.
One thing I've always thought caddy yards should do, not all of a lot of them don't, but like, and you were good at recognizing people, but I wish reservations like at Bandon would say, "Hey, last question, Mr. Brook. What's the handicap range of your golfers in your
Yeah.
group? Well, we're scratch to 10, or fuck, we're a corporate group. Some of our guys are all 30s, and pair up the caddies that way. You know, when I played at Cyprus, my caddy was terrible. He didn't even know how to use a rangefinder, right? So it's like I just caddied for myself, which was fine. You know, I don't need someone reading my greens. You know, he'd tell me to hit a putt at edge. It broke 3 feet. You know, and I'd be like, "Good read." You know, I'm always nice to my caddies,
So,
right? Because I
other
know
way.
how hard it can be.
Yeah.
But man, there's nothing worse than having a scratch golfer in the group. There's 2 scratch golfers and 2 30s, and I'm carrying the 30 handicappers bags while this other caddy that's a 20 handicap is carrying the scratch golfers bags. That doesn't work.
Scratch. Yeah. Well, I know we've all been there. I mean, I can remember days at Bandon Dunes where we'd be done and the guy would come up to me and be like, "Hey, is there any way you can get like someone more like you for my guy?" And I'm like, because we've all been there where we're like, okay, we don't need to be paired together. Me knowing that is how, I mean, this is what I used to do at Stream Song. And whether anybody knew it or not, I don't care. It's not like I would brag about it, but it wouldn't be a coincidence that a group from Ohio gets 2 caddies from Ohio. Or wouldn't be,
Right.
you know, I know the zip codes 100001, which I think is Manhattan. They're getting Timmy or Richie or Maddie. Like, I got guys coming down, and I would call them, and I would say, "Look, I got a bunch of guys. You want horses? You want jokesters? You don't care? Do you want a degenerate? You know, whatever. Because some guys just want, some guys just want a guy like, remember Sleepy?
Some guys, some
Remember
guys want the
Sleepy?
1980 experience.
There were guys
There's
that
an experience
Sleepy
for
was
everybody.
the perfect caddy for. It was a old single guy with a cart, because Sleepy would have a heart attack if he had to try to walk anywhere.
Still video him running. We still have
Oh God, please send that video to me. That was the greatest, Bartow.
man.
But I
Fastest
put
2 minutes in sports.
a lot of time and effort into researching where my guys were coming from. I got that from my dad, because that's what my dad used to do at Bandon, and he was really good. Certain groups coming in, he's going to make sure he's there at the course. He introduces himself. He hands them over to the guys. I used to do that with all of you guys at Stream Song. I'd have my guests, and these guys would come up, and they'd have all their T-circle putters and all their expensive shit. And I'd be like, all right, you guys got the best. You got the best 4 caddies here. And it probably, just like when I used to caddy at Bandon, it would take me about a half a hole to prove to these guys that this is my office. If you listen to me, you're going to have the greatest day of your life. And that's usually how it went. I know, countless loops that you guys were both on at Stream Song. And that's how I ran the program. The best caddies are going to work the most. And if you're really good, and I will work you until you ask me for a day off. And then sometimes I'll just give you a day off, because let's face it, after 6-7 days, no matter where you're at, you need some time.
No, you'd give us days off so you'd have someone to play with, Chipper.
Yeah.
Well, of course.
Right. I was going to say, and we got to play golf too.
Yeah.
So,
well, yeah, if we were, exactly.
But in a situation like Pebble Beach, I don't think there's much of that going on.
No. It's a sign
Different
of the
times,
times.
different places.
It's a sign of the times. But
and I think it was probably an inevitable move out there to a place like that. But certainly a lot of people in the world up in arms about it.
Well, you start, especially in a place like California, you start, the independent contractor label is a
the California element
is a big gray area, because you're trying to hold standards. And believe me, there were things I did that maybe weren't, general contract, independent contractor approved. But if you show up and you're dirty and you smell, like, I'm not putting you to work, period. Just because you have the legal right to be here. And I would tell all these caddies who would bitch and moan, there's a lot of places between here and where you live that are probably hiring. And if you think that I'm going to put my reputation on the line to this guest by throwing some scumbag caddy out there, you're out of your mind. And I would never do it. And not everybody, I remember the first time I introduced Timmy to the director of golf at Streamsong, I don't even remember his name, but I was basically saying, hey, this is the best caddy we've ever had. And he's like, oh, and he didn't even look at him.
Right.
I didn't know Timmy was going to win a major in 9 tour events, but I was right. He was the best.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, I mean, that's just, it's interesting talk. It's a shame for the guys that live at Pebble because I can't imagine there's anywhere near Pebble that's cheap to live. So, I don't know what they're gonna do, but there's some weird shit happening. Well, and one more thing before you end on these caddies, if you're at a place like Pine Valley, where they don't, the one thing I love about Pine Valley is if you're a billionaire or if you're me, you're acting the same way when you're there. No one's ever there that I've seen. Because if they do, they get removed, where they act like they're bigger than the club, so to speak. There's a funny on the 8th hole at Pine Valley, about 100 feet up on a pine tree, there's a little box, and that's called the suggestion box at PV. So they really aren't interested in how you want things to be done. They run it a certain way. And I've always believed, because I've been a caddy, is if there's a guy like Rich Stapleton or you or me at Pine Valley, and I carry for whoever, pick the guy, Joe Smith, and I'm an elite, well, Joe Smith's going to want me every time he comes. Well, I might not be available every time. And then, well, Joe Smith's going to pay me $200. Well, no, you can't pay $200. Like, you're not really allowed to overpay the caddies there either, because they want to keep it in this median area. And I've always believed that the more elite the golf course is, the worse the caddies are, because I think if everybody is mediocre, nobody separates themselves, and you don't have members, because there's some clubs where the members are just going to show up, caddy's going to be there, he might tell him left edge and it's 5 cups, and that's just the way it is. And they, because if you had like 9 studs at PV and there's 30 caddies, you're going to have all these members arguing over them, and that's just not how they roll. And I've been to some elite places, and most of the caddies at those elite places are garbage. But anyway,
unfortunately,
unfortunately,
it's
true.
Unfortunate fact of golf,
but that's just the way it is. So anyway, we'll do it. We got a great caddy show coming up. I'll go from Bandon to Streamsong. We'll talk about all kinds of stuff. A lot of great stories, but
we'll cover that sometime during the summer for sure. Unfortunately, that'll have to cap out for this time, but we will certainly have a more of a deeper conversation about the status of caddies in and around America. Maybe have some cool guys on from around the country that we know. Get some different stories going.
If they're allowed to be on camera.
Listen, that is all the time we got for now. Another fun episode this week. Panda, glad you're back home safely. Timmy Tuck, enjoy the weekend. Boys, that is all I got. Closing thoughts, Panda. I'll let you lead it out. Yeah,
great to be home. Great week. Shout out to the USGA, put on another fantastic event, and looking forward to a little humidity. And it looks like we're going to get some rain today, which I didn't see one cloud in Phoenix. Was there for a week, did not see one cloud. So looking forward to the weekend, spend some time with the family. Happy Memorial Day for all of those out there that know someone or are related to someone that's been a part of that. And yeah, that's it for me. God bless golf. Look forward to talking to you guys soon. Timmy, what you got?
It's it, brother. Same thing. Happy Memorial Day, and enjoy the weekend. Be safe, and God bless golf.
That's
God
it,
bless
boys.
golf, everybody.
All right, babe. We'll see.